this was done because people just put some poles around, making a dome, or some like a cone, and live in, throwing the debris, the refuse outside of these round things.
Alongside the very same beaches, similar huts were being built by the Fuegians until just 60 years ago. These huts sheltered the American Aborigines through thousands of winters of wind, rain, and snow. Some tribes wore hides of guanaco, a type of llama, to keep the cold out. But others wandered around virtually naked. How did they cope with the cold? Tierra del Fuego was surrounded by colonies of seals. Seal oil rubbed on the skin offered protection against the cold and damp. It was also especially high in calories. A spoonful a day provided extra resistance to the cold.
We were given spoonfuls of seal oil. That's how I grew up healthy. And I guess that's why I'm still here today. They said it was very good for the kids, but only in winter, not in summer. Because in summer your face comes out in a rash of spots.
The Fuegians also kept fires lit indefinitely, even when they were on the move.
They lit their fires in the canoe. And I'd ask, how come the boat doesn't burn? No, the fires were lit on a layer of damp grass. So long as the fire is small, the canoe doesn't catch fire.
Isolated from the rest of the continent, the descendants of the American Aborigines preserved their way of life for thousands of years. But there's something else. They appear to have also kept alive their rituals. The 1930s expeditions recorded secret initiation ceremonies. Before boys could be led into the secrets of the tribe, they had to face up to spooks and spirits. According to the ethnographic reports, boys and women believed the ghosts were real. Could such rituals help decipher the enigmatic scenes on the Brazilian rock shelters? The dancing spooks, with their masks and stripes, are strangely familiar. Tribal wisdom taught to the Fuegian initiates was secret. It was only revealed to men. Women were kept in the dark. Any speculation about it was, and still is, strictly taboo.
They said it was a very secret ritual. That's why we never talked about it. Only the men were supposed to know about it.
What was so secret that it had to be kept from the women? Some of the chiefs, according to ethnographers, explain that there was a time in a very distant past when women ruled society. So the women must never know, lest the men lose their grip on power. Perhaps the story was brought into the New World by the American Aborigines, because similar legends have been recorded amongst Aborigine tribes in Australia. Amazingly, traditions of the first peoples of Australia appear to have been preserved here at the utmost end of the earth by a small band of their descendants. But after surviving 50,000 years, the memory of those traditions is now at risk of being lost forever. The arrival of white settlers in the late 19th century pushed the native people of Tierra del Fuego to the brink of extinction. The guanaco was one of the main sources of food. But when European settlers arrived, they saw a land ideally suited for something else. Gradually, the guanaco hunting grounds were transformed into vast sheep stations. It seems that the Fuegians thought they could simply switch to hunting sheep. It was a tragic mistake. European landlords thought nothing of killing poachers in cold blood. Christian missionaries tried their best to help the natives adapt to the changing circumstances. Women and children were brought to the missions to be clothed and educated. But this only made matters worse, as the Fuegians came into contact with European diseases for the first time.
Había una enfermedad muy fuerte.
There was a virulent disease, and many died from that. A few survived, but then came a stomach illness, and many more died. Many babies and adults. I was ill too, but I pulled through.
The deaths eventually decimated the villages. "30 years ago, Christina and Ursula had to abandon the village where they grew up and move into a white settlement. They return occasionally to visit the graves of their family. Christina and Ursula are now the last surviving link to the culture of the pioneering Aborigines who first discovered the Americas. For for they are two of only a few full-blooded Fuegians left alive. Their children are the offspring of mixed marriages. Just as it did 9,000 years ago, intermarriage, this time with Europeans, may save something of the American Aboriginal culture from complete extinction. The Fuegians' ancestors had set off from the other side of the world. Their arrival in Tierra del Fuego was the culmination of an epic journey across ocean and continent. They were the first to discover the Americas. "50,000 years later, their descendants have dwindled to a handful of survivors. But who knows? Perhaps the Fuegians were not the only Aborigines to survive the arrival of the Mongoloids. Maybe another tribe of long-lost American Aborigines is awaiting discovery in some remote corner of the Brazilian jungle.